Anthony Hartwig here with another Middle Ridge volleyball player profile. I'm joined by another senior, Jersey Tucker. Jersey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And like I said, 5 seniors on Middle Ridge's team. What's it like being part of a bigger senior group?
It's kind of crazy, but it's a lot of fun because of the bond we have. It also makes it really special on and off of the court.
Do you think that bond you're talking about has kind of contributed to the success you guys have had this season?
Oh, for sure, because we realized in past years, if you don't have that connection off of the court, you're not going to feel it on the court and be able to keep lifting your teammates up. So that really helps with winning matches.
What kind of things did you guys do this year, maybe differently than years past, to really make sure that chemistry is not just good, but tight knit and strong?
I think we're just really close with each other now. And we realized, I think, more now that if we really work together as a team and lift each other up and don't break anyone down, it'll really help us in the further season.
What's it been like for you kind of stepping into the senior leadership role and having to be a leader of this team?
It's kind of hard actually because last year was my first year playing varsity and it was my first year being a middle. So that was really challenging. And this year, now I play all the way around. So I feel like I really actually contribute to the team more than I did this year. So that's just kind of how I feel.
What's it been like? I mean, last year is your first year on varsity. You're just a middle blocker, and now you're an all rotation player. What's that growth and that experience been like from you?
I think that growth really came from me playing club the past couple years. I really worked hard to be a back row player because my coach was telling me hey, really work on that passing if you want to be an all around player. And that's really what I did. Even though the season was cut short for Corona, for club, I still worked hard and it paid off and now I'm an all around player. So.
And now you're getting close to the end of your senior season. What's it like seeing all that hard work kind of pay off? And not only are you an all rotation player, but you're a leader, and you're a leader of a very successful team.
It's really sad, but all good things have to come to an end. Back-to-back league champs, that's crazy. That's already a good accomplishment for us. So no matter how we end up, I think I'm going to be really proud either way. So.
What was senior night like for you? Because you did it kind of early. You couldn't do it in the last home game of the season like normal. So you felt those emotions, but it wasn't as strong as it would have been maybe if it was the last game of the season.
Yeah, it was really sad, but I didn't cry or anything just because it's not really hitting you yet because it's not over. And normally this week, when we play Brookfield, that would be our last home game. But now since we're the number 1 seed, we're hosting the tournament games at home. So we get to play more home games. So it's not as bad right now. And it's not really hitting us yet that hey, it's almost over.
New tournament format. You guys are the 1 seed. You get to host all the way through the district finals. How excited are you to kind of host tournament games and to be able to play those playoff games in your home gym?
Oh, I think we're really excited and we really are feeling hey, the hard work's really paying off. And not only are we the 1 seed, but those other teams have to vote you in to be the 1 seed. So it really feels good that our hard work paid off and everyone else sees that our hard work paid off. So.
And you said it before, back-to-back league champions. It's a tough league, a lot of good teams in that league. What's it been like this season, getting that back-to-back and fighting through the league and finishing strong with it?
I mean, it is crazy. I think one thing that really helps us is we take it one game at a time. We don't really think oh, we have to beat all of these teams to be league champs. No, we just take it one game at a time, win it set by set, and that really helps us.
Coach Ron Lesko, what's it been like being under him? And we see him on the sidelines all the time. What's he like kind of off the court and maybe in practice and the things that we don't get to see as media members?
He's can be tough. He really just knows what's best for us and what we need to do. He really goes on the fundamentals, everything we need. And his daughter, Kate Lesko, she's my best friend. So I'm over her house all the time. We're always still talking about volleyball. He just makes sure he betters us and makes sure he knows we're doing the best that we can do.
During Caitlin's interview, she told me that he has nicknames for all you guys. So what's his nickname for you?
He just says Tucker. It's always just Tucker.
That's Tucker.
Always.
Your first name is a name that you don't see a lot. It's very unique. Is there a story behind that? Is it a
Uh,
family name? Do you know?
yeah, I don't know if like you ever seen the movie Coyote Ugly. There's a girl in the movie and they call her Jersey, and people actually say I kind of look like her. That's where my name's from.
That's awesome. I always want, as soon as I saw that name on the roster, I was like, huh, there's got to be a story behind that. Uh,
Yeah.
what's it like, now that you're at the end of the season and you get to reflect on all the things that you've went through with Middle Ridge Volleyball? What are some of your favorite memories?
Definitely my favorite memory recently would be probably beating reserve the first time we beat them. I had that dig that just tripled over the net and really saved us probably that set in winning. That was really cool for me. I really loved doing that. That was sweet.
And use it. What's it like going down and getting a big dig like that? What's that feeling like for you?
It was just that feeling when like my team was screaming and like thought of all the excitement. Just like, wow, like I really just like helped our team possibly like win that set. That was a really good feeling.
And now, as a full rotation player, we talked about it before. You kind of get to do a lot of the dirty work down there, the digs and the stats that people don't really get to look at a lot. What's that like working kind of under the radar a little bit more this year?
It's like I don't know, it's like kind of hard. But I like okay, like recently this season, like I've gotten in this little slump where like I haven't been killing the ball as much as like I normally do. And our other coach, our freshman coach, Becca, came up to me and added up like all my digs. And she's like, look at these digs. Like they don't go as much seen, but you are contributing to the other hitters getting these kills and getting every point. So
What's that
that
mind,
really boosted my confidence
what's
a
that
little bit.
what's that mindset like when you can, okay, you're not hitting as well as you want to, but you can fall back on your defense and say, I'm not going to let my struggles in the front row affect my play in the back row.
Yeah. I am starting to get up a little bit more. Like I'm getting my kills a little bit better than I have recently. But I just tell myself, like when I go back to serve, I'm like, okay, Jersey, like if you're struggling a little bit in the front row, like you better make up for all these points in the back row. So
What makes you proud to go to Middle Ridge and to represent that school and to wear the colors and to just be a part of that school system?
I think like a lot of our teams recently like haven't been winning as much, and really like when they see like Middle Ridge volleyball is winning, I think it really gives like the spirit in like Middle Ridge. Um, and we don't really go around and say like, oh, we're going to be really good this year, like, and brag about it like really as much. We just show it on the court. We show it by our actions and not really by our words. And everyone in the school really supports us on that.
Volleyball is not the only thing that has changed because of COVID-19. You've also had to kind of shift a little bit in your schooling. What's that kind of been like with the changes in the education?
Oh, I absolutely hate it. Not a lot of schools have this, but like everyone has to wear a mask, but they don't have the shields really around their desk. And it's really hard to like see and concentrate with this big shield around you. You can't really communicate with everyone. Lunch we eat in the classrooms. It's very quiet. No one really talks because you can't. You have this big shield around you. So it's kind of a lot less social this year.
Yeah, and you don't get to interact with your classmates. So what kind of ways, I mean, I'm sure you guys get creative and trying to find ways to communicate with each other in school and try to keep that social bond together. So what kind of creative ways has maybe the Middle Ridge student body found to navigate through the toughness of COVID-19?
We did have a pep rally. That was fun. So we kind of just got to all sit around and just like talk. But in between each class, we have to go in this little like holding area. And the seniors is like the auditorium. So then is kind of when we talk about our classes, talk about everything that's going on, and just try to catch up before we have to go sit in the classroom for an hour and a half. So
What has been your favorite class so far in maybe your whole high school career?
I definitely think it would be math. I like to solve problems for sure.
What are some future goals that you have for yourself after you graduate Middle Ridge?
I definitely either want to go into business or education. I don't think I'm going to go towards like the volleyball path. I think I'm going to be a cheerleader in college. I think I want to go to Kent and cheer or YSU and cheer. So
What's it
that's
like kind of because you do the cheer and you do the volleyball. What's it like kind of shifting between those two realms and those two worlds?
for a long time in my life, I did all-star cheerleading. That was like my life, like tumbling. Everyone knows me as tumbling. And then I actually didn't start playing volleyball until 8th grade year. And it was okay. Like 8th grade and freshman year, it was just fun for me. And then I started playing club. So then it was just like, I'm like, wow, like I really like volleyball. And now I think that volleyball is more of my passion right now than it is cheer. So,
You get to play and then you get to cheer. Do you wish that you guys had a cheer squad on the volleyball team that like cheered for you at your games? Like if you could make the football team go and cheer for you guys, would that be something that you would have if you had the control over implemented that? Is that something that you would implement?
well, no, because, well, if it wasn't for Corona, we would really honestly have like the biggest student sections for our volleyball games when we would have like our really big games. And people would say to us like, wow, I've never seen such a big student section for volleyball games. So I honestly feel like they are kind of our cheerleaders when it comes to when we're playing, when they come and support us in those big, large group student sections with their themes. Sometimes it'd be camo, pink. It was really awesome for all the support.
Yeah, you do get a big student section, but in COVID-19, you've had to live life without the fans. What's that
Yeah.
been like for you guys?
At first it was really hard. Like our first game, we looked up in the stands and we're like, wow, like there's really not as many people here as like normally can be. But I think like we have to be our own student section and we have to create that energy on the court with each other to be able to keep each other up and have the energy to win the game.
Do you have any pregame routines that you like to stick to?
I'm the team braider. So I'm always braiding everyone's hair before the game. That's really important, especially if we're playing like a big game. I think it's kind of like a good luck thing. The Aulette's mom always gets us like these candies and they always have a quote on it about us that like goes with the candy. And then right before the JV games end, we do Ram Jacks.
Team Braider is a big responsibility. How do you handle that?
Sometimes it is stressful because sometimes I only have one set to braid about 5 or 6 girls' hair. So it gets a little crazy sometimes, but
You've, get,
I'm really quick at it, so I get it done.
you've gotten good at speed braiding, I imagine.
Yeah.
Jersey, with these player profiles, we like to give the player the time to kind of thank their support system and thank the people that have been there for him over the years. So I just want to give you the time to thank whoever it is you want to thank.
I definitely like to thank my grandparents for all the money they put out for club and just being my supporters, and my dad and my stepmom for always coming to all the games, and being another one of my bigger supporters, and the rest of my family, especially the girls I play with on the court, and especially all of my coaches, and especially Ron Lesko.
And before we let you go, quarantine kept us in the house for a couple of months back in the spring. What was your favorite quarantine activity?
Definitely watching Netflix, for
What
sure.
was the go-to show during quarantine on Netflix?
Definitely All American and Outer Banks.
All right, those are both good choices. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jersey. It was great to talk to you and get to know you, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.